Thanks for tuning back into part two. In this one, I teach you everything else that I know about downstream distribution. I've been back out around the streets and lanes of Surrey to do some outside broadcast stuff in the howling wind and rain. And then at the end, I kind of give my summary of what needs to happen to get us out of this. If you like this stuff, subscribe, like, put some stuff in the comments. The comments have been really excellent. So thanks for that. And thanks for everyone just for generally being so nice.
I'm on a top secret location out in Surrey where it's pissing down. It's actually quite nice. It's on the edge of a golf course. I'm trespassing. There's one of those SO pipeline markers. That'll be moving product from down in Fawley up to West London, and we did all of that in the last one. But in this episode, let's go and take another look at some petrol sites, okay?
So the important lesson here is that downstream distribution is split into two. Retail includes service stations, and those service stations come in three flavors. They can be company owned and company operated, big flash sites like that Shell one that I saw the other day with Waitrose. Company owned, dealer operated. These are the ones that might be in your neighborhood. It'll be an Esso site or a Shell site or a BP site with a couple of guys running it like a shop, and they're trying to make money off the shop. And then there's dealer-owned, dealer-operated sites. You don't see a lot of those, but they're normally pretty good premium locations that are actually owned not by the oil company, but by an independent person, by a family that's lived in that location for a long time. The other retail downstream sites that you see are supermarkets, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Morrison's, motorway service stations. They're big old sites, lots of volumes through those. You've got to keep those moving. And then you've got independents, small garages that you sometimes see that might not have a big name on the flagpole. Industrial and wholesale, as the name suggests, is all about supplying businesses. And that includes haulage companies that use lots of diesel, local authorities, they use diesel in refuse trucks and in gritters, ferry ports, kind of Portsmouth, Calmac, public transport, buses, general aviation, avgas, and agriculture. Agriculture, not only for tractors, but they also use fuels for drying crops at the end of the season.
This is a petroleum retail site, so this is retail, not industrial. Here we've got the canopy. There we've got the flagpole, which has got the brand on the top and the prices, and also some of the facilities that you can get at this site. Underneath, you've got the pumps. They're made by companies like Gilbarco. And there you've got the convenience store. It's got a franchise with Spar, but you'll see some of the other ones. That Shell one we looked at the other day had a Waitrose franchise. A BP one might have a Marks and Spencer's franchise. Basically what you want to do is get the driver out of the car and into the store buying Mars bars and Coca-Cola and condoms and newspapers, because the markup on those is way higher than it is on a litre of gasoline. Most of that price is tax. The actual cost of the product will be 20p, 30p, something like that. It's minuscule. This is a big tax generation exercise for the government. So this is a different type of retail site. So this is a supermarket retail site branded as Sainsbury's, but the gasoline you get here will come from one of the big oil companies. Sainsbury's will have a long-term supply contract with Esso or BP or Shell. Tankers will arrive here in unbranded white label tankers, but they'll have come from West London. This is Guildford, okay, so it's just down the road. They'll come here and they'll dump product. Normally these have got pretty big tanks. Now the oil companies, they hate working with the supermarkets. It all started in France back in the 90s. The supermarkets do it as a way to get you into their shop, and ideally the oil companies wouldn't be in this business, but the volume's too big to ignore. And also what it does do is it helps the economics for the oil companies, because they're getting more and more volume through the refinery and through the network and through the distribution system.
Military viewers, tune in now, because you've got to get used to these. These are the offset loading pipes. So you're going to turn up in a tanker. Main thing that you've got to do is drop the right fuel from the right compartment onto the tanker into the right tank. They're labelled pretty clearly, okay? That number, that 35,000 number, is the volume of the tank underneath. You'll know the volume of the product on your tanker, and the site manager will meet you and you'll have a little conversation to make sure there's enough. This one's pretty easy. There was 2 grades, 2 tanks there of unleaded, 2 grades there of diesel. This is the fume recapture, because the fumes that are held within the tank, we take those back to the refinery, chill them out, and we get some hydrocarbons from them.
So this is what industrial looks like. This is a local council depot where refuse trucks and where gritting trucks operate out of. In there, there'll be a tank that holds diesel, and the vehicles will fill up there before they go out. You know, you never see refuse trucks or gritters filling up at local petrol stations, and that's because they've got their own supply within there. If I was running the show, this is where the army would be delivering to, because there's only one product. There's one product. You're not going to be able to mess that up, because you'd fill the tanker with diesel and you drop it off here. The only thing that you have to do is make sure there's enough room in the destination tanker so you don't have a spill at the end.
So let's just summarise where we were. Before Brexit, the HGV certified driver pool was very much in equilibrium based on our access to those skilled resources from the EU. With Brexit, we brought in restrictions to goods and services and the movement of people. And so we closed off that pool. And then what's happened is it's become less attractive to live in the UK. And you can probably feel that. It's a very, very different country than it was 5 years ago. And 10 years ago, we were running the Olympics and we were the envy of the world. And it doesn't feel like that now, does it? And people will say, oh, it's down to COVID, or it's down to IR35, or it's down to oil companies trying to shift stale product. Rubbish. It's all down to Brexit. That's the big thing. That's the elephant in the room. So what else has happened? The oil companies, who are normally really good at long-term scenario planning, completely took their eye off the ball with this one. So I really don't know what happened there, but I'd be getting some senior people and some solid advisors into those boardrooms and working out where it goes from here. And also, oil companies, you're pretty well in with the government, so why don't you use your lobbying muscle to push the government to change some of their policies? Oil companies, HR departments need to get on the ball and identify and recruit, retain skilled drivers. You can't be put in this situation again, because what you've done is you've given the keys to the business away. You're losing revenue now because those sites are closed, because contractors that you selected can't do the job. And that must be really uncomfortable to you, knowing that you're losing revenue. You can't do anything about it because you put all of your third-party risk with delivery haulage contractors. So your procurement teams need to do a much better job at selecting contractors while you're also building up your own driver capability. If you're a contractor, this has been a really, really crap year for you. You need to be on the phone, phoning up all the people that you've lost over the past year and seeing if they'll come back on one of these visas that miraculously turned up over the past 48 hours to see if they'll come back. And you need to pay them pretty well, and you need to get them on a retention bonus. And if I were you, I'd be offering them permanent jobs, because if you don't offer them a permanent job, the oil companies are going to offer them a permanent job. The military has been told to get involved. I can't imagine that the military is wild about this, but the government, you know, Boris likes a uniform. I wonder whether he's got a uniform fetish. He wants the military involved, and I think there's a certain sector within the UK that thinks that the military can fix anything. I'd get their brightest and best, get them down to the terminal, get them in front of your brightest and best educators, and get them skilled up as soon as you can. I'd get them working on industrial and wholesale, basically just single product diesel into road haulage, big industrial sites. For you, if you've not got any petrol within your car now, I really feel for you. this would be my advice, okay? The branded sites are going to be the one that get replenished first. So if you're in the southeast, it's Esso Forley. Esso owns West London Distribution Terminal, and they're going to be supplying their sites first. So get onto social media, tune in with your pals, get on the WhatsApp group and find out when the tanker is going to turn up and get down there. If you're near a motorway service stations will have product, but it will be expensive product. When you're thinking about the end of your PCP contract, I bet you're going to have a look at an electric vehicle, aren't you? There's 500,000 electric vehicles on the road at the moment. I think that's going to double within a year. And then finally, do something, okay? Life doesn't have to be like this. What can you do? Email your MP, talk to your local councillors, talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues at work. Let them know that you are unhappy whichever way you voted. This isn't what anybody wants. It really doesn't have to be like this.